So before we get started, why don't you guys kind of introduce yourself and talk about what what 9gag and what Activate are. So start with Ray.
Yeah, sure. We are 9gag. We are based in Hong Kong. Yeah, 9gag is a funny website for people to share funny images and videos. Right now, we have 25 million fans on Facebook, 17 million followers on Instagram, 5 million followers on Twitter. Yeah, we are doing okay.
I'm Michael Wolf. I'm co-founder of Activate, and we are the leading strategy consulting firm to the world's major technology and media companies. And we work with them on helping them grow their businesses and to really compete in this age of massive change. And the issue of millennials is really on the top of our minds and all of our clients' minds.
So before we came out from backstage, the three of us were discussing what millennial means and how we're going to define it and if it means anything really. So why don't I put that question to the two of you individually. What is a millennial? How are we defining it? When does it stop? When does someone stop being a millennial? And what kind of makes this generation or this kind of demographic different? Maybe we'll start with you, Michael.
I think that it's not people who were born at the turn of the millennium. It's more about people who've come of age at the millennium. So it's really, if you think about it, it's anybody who's born after around 1990 or around 1990, because as they've gotten into their early teens, they have an entirely different use of technology, of media, of their entire surrounding and how they interact with their friends.
For me, to be honest, I don't know the word. Yeah, I think young, that's the key. Yeah, if you think you're young, you can be millennial or Gen X, Gen Y, whatever you call it. And usually, the people who are really the so-called millennial, they don't know the word millennial. Yeah, yeah, that's what we see. Yeah.
And what kind of difference does it make, compared to someone that was, say, born in, 1985 and grew up before, in a lot of places will have grown up before kind of widespread internet usage, widespread mobile phone usage. What difference does it make to kind of come of age with all of that taken as a norm? What difference does it make never to have known a world without the internet?
It's what you see, though, is a dramatic change, which is there's a generation of people who really started all of their media consumption, their whole world outside of their day-to-day life took place through television. And as soon as it isn't just about a connected device, it was even about having a computer in front of them and being able to do things and break out beyond their physical worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, similar ideas.
And how do you go about, when you talk to your clients or when you kind of sell to advertisers, how do you say, how do you kind of communicate to this generation or this demographic? How does that approach have to differ to when you're trying to communicate or trying to attract an older audience or even a younger audience?
Yeah, their traditional advertising is effective to this generation only to a certain point. And if you look at what they relate to, a lot of what they're relating to in video is short-form video. It's what they're watching on YouTube. It's what they're watching on Vine. And part of the reason is, yes, it does fit short attention spans, but really in the past, things like MTV did the same thing. What's different, though, is it's an entirely different set of personalities and ones that they can relate to. This generation is less interested in authority. It's much more interested in authenticity. And so advertising and promoting to this generation is more about those people that they can relate to, those stars who are on YouTube or Vine or now on Snapchat, and the products and services that they're promoting versus the traditional sort of television commercial.
From what we see, I think young people, they're always the same. I mean, even remember when our parents were younger, they're also rebellious, right? They don't like the authority. Nowadays, I think the young generation, they're also the same. It's just nowadays things got magnified because of Facebook, because of other social network. But somehow we don't know how to talk to advertisers about them. It's just the advertisers, they want to reach those guys because they know that they're the one who will buy games, buy virtual items on games, spend money on chat and stuff. Yeah, what is important is how to be cool so that they will continue to use your service. How to have a voice so that whether they like you or they hate you, they will also respond to you. I think that's the key, how to engage with the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, this generation is also, it's allergic to big business. In order to relate to this audience, it's got to be at their level. It's got to be something that doesn't necessarily, it's got to have edge. When you look at what they're interested in online, it's comedy, it's things that are edgy, some of them slightly mean, and that's not necessarily what fits the traditional forms of advertising or even the kinds of ways in which advertising is delivered today.
And how kind of as a business or when you're consulting with your clients, how do you kind of advise them to approach that? Because like when you say the word edge, the kind of first thing that comes to my mind is during the 90s when suddenly everyone was using Zs instead of Ss, using Zs instead of Ss, because they were trying to look hip and cool, and it looked anything but. How do brands kind of engage with this and do it properly rather than doing it in a way that might seem pandering or kind of inauthentic?
Part of the challenge with television advertising was that it was 15 or 30 seconds long and somebody really couldn't do anything else but change channels. Internet video, you have to make your message in 5 seconds. And this generation is used to either seeing something in 5 seconds and deciding whether or not it's going to skip the ad, or deciding in those 5 seconds, catching their attention and watching it entirely. So engaging with this group means that it's got to be much more integrated. So they will watch videos that are promoting a product. They'll watch a great trailer for a film. But having the patience to do what I would call interruption advertising, which is just wait a second, we'll show you this ad, and then you get to see what you want to see. Increasingly, those are going to become less effective.
I think the key is not really about the time, it's more about the choices. Nowadays, I have good content everywhere. Why do I bother to see an ad that is so instructive and then I'll spend 5 seconds or 10 seconds? Even 1 second is too much. That's why I don't want to spend my time on poor ads or very annoying ads. But I don't mind spending time watching movies, right? The Avengers or Minions. People, millennials or adults, they all go to watch the movies, right? So it's more about the quality, because the generally quality of the content available is improved. That's why they are willing. They are not willing to waste their time on low value stuff. I think that's more like the choices. It's less about the age, yeah. Because to be honest, young people, they have the most time in the world, right? Old people, they don't have time, yeah, that much, right? So it's not about the time. It's more about whether I feel that my time is valuable. Yeah.
And are there any examples of businesses or brands that you think are doing this really well? I mean, you can say 9GagRay, but are there anyone else?
I think, for example, I think maybe Red Bull is doing okay. They're not okay very well, right? Or GoPro, right? A lot of young people, they use the selfie stick and then with the GoPro, and then they keep using it. Because it's not because they think that it's cool. That's why they do it. GoPro doesn't really reach out to them. It's just, I'm so cool. I stand for value, for something, for image. And then if they think that you're cool, then they will follow you. Yeah, they will use your product. Yeah.
Yeah, the irony is Apple, despite the fact it's one of the largest corporations in the world, has somehow been able to create ways in which its advertising seems somewhat countercultural. It seems, and part of that is just continuing to emphasize that there are great things you can do with their products. And it's very different. There are other companies that have tried to do the same thing. Apple has succeeded uniquely.
Yeah, because they're kind of expensive. Yeah, so it's hip. Yeah, when I own things that you don't own, then I'm a cool guy. Yeah, that's why I would use it. Yeah, in fact, a lot of, for example, I came back from San Francisco a few weeks ago. A friend told me, basically, the people who use iPhone 6 Plus are Asians because they want to show off their phone. This is so cool. I think Apple kind of create that kind of image.
I guess I'm Asian.
I think it's a general observation. Yeah, I think maybe that's a reason. It's not really about whether I'm of which age. It's more about this is cool. Yeah, that's why I'm not very agree that young people they don't like a bigger company or big corporations. For example, in my generation, I'm not that old. Yeah, in my generation, we love to work for Google or work for Facebook, right? They're huge companies, but I still want to work with them because it's cool. Because you work for HSBC, I work for Facebook. I'm cooler than you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do think there's one thing that's different, and with this group, which is they don't expect to have a job forever. They expect I'll work for a company for a couple of years, and then I'm going to go on to the next place, and that my own success. Now, by the way, some of this may have to do with the differences between Asia and the U.S., where I'm based, but a lot of it is this group, they have the expectation that the company isn't going to ever be loyal to them, so why should they be loyal to the company? And in a lot of cases, cool may be a company that has great products, but also one that's focused on their lifestyle.
I think somehow maybe it's also come down to the choices. For example, in the past, when you want to start an internet company, it's so hard. You have to build your own server. Right now, because of AWS, because of, other services, you can create a company very easily. So there are more companies, there are more choices. That's why it's very likely that I can change jobs. It's kind of like when you are a handsome guy. In the past, you only reach out to maybe 10 girls in your class. Right now, you can go on the internet to meet a lot of other girls. That's why there are higher rates of divorce and then a high rate of breakups. I think it's more about the choices as well. Yeah. So if you want to become a good guy, good boyfriend, good husband, don't go out to clubs that often.
Yeah, but a bigger issue is a lot of parts of the world that millennials are having. We were talking about this backstage. Millennials are having trouble getting jobs, and so in some ways, it's one of the first generations that's got to think about careers that are not traditional. That it's not just about graduating from college and applying. In some cases, they have to be able to focus on something that they can do, some talent that, and again, it comes back to, are they going to find a place to work full time for a long period of time?
Yeah, I think one difference that we see when we are interviewing more, younger team members, right? I think in the past, it's more like I want to work for NIGAT or work for your company. Right now, they are more like they want to work for themselves, but I work at NIGAT. Yeah, so I think that may be the difference. Because I don't think young people, they have problems in finding jobs. It's more like they have problems in finding jobs that pay well and they don't have to do much. And then they have to spend a lot of time do their own things. That's why maybe in different countries, for example, like in SF, DoorDash or Uber or TaskRabbit, all those companies, they have some kind like freelancer work for them, and then somehow they still have their own time to do their own things. I think this is the trend. It's also because technology makes this kind of jobs happen. In the past, no way. You have to work for a big company. Right now, I can work for myself. I can call myself an artist. And on the one hand, on the other side, I do deliver goods for Instacart, something like that.
Yeah. I also, this is a group that in many cases is looking for some sort of social meaning, something beyond just a job. And it's reflected in what we see in terms of technology experiences. So in the US, there's a site called Upworthy. I don't know if it's well known here, but Upworthy, a lot of it is finding stories in social media, but there's stories that have to do broader meaning. They have social good. And millennials have, it's been a tremendous success story and growth story, but especially with this audience because they are looking for something beyond just work.
I'm not surely I totally agree with that, because when you look back at 70s or 80s or even 50s or 60s, people also went on the streets to protest against the war, right? young people, they are always the one who stand up front to protest against the unfair or the inequality of the society. They are always care about the social value more. It's just when you get older, you have to take care of your family. That's why you give up. Yeah. I think that's more about the age. It's less about the year of birth.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think we can hold this generation to the same set of expectations in terms of like the evolution of this generation will be different because the world has changed around them. They have access to an entire world. They can talk with people through social networks. They can see so much more through the internet. And actually, in a lot of ways, this generation has come of age not just because of the computer, but going back to 2007 with the launch of the iPhone, the computer that you have in your pocket. And so it's likely to evolve very differently than previous generations.
Yeah, every generation is different.
Yes.
Yeah, but somehow
Totally agree.
Yeah, I think somehow I always have hope in the newer generation because they have I don't know, when your environment is better. I think don't talk about the generation. Just look at their height, right? I'm taller than my parents. Probably my kids are taller than me. So I believe that the generation is even better in the future. So I think what we have to do is less about how to engage them. It's more about how we listen to them. And then we just tell them, hey, this is what we think. Whether they agree or not, that's not that important. Because somehow when they get older, they will understand.
Yeah, but in a lot of ways, what they're going to do is they're going to tell us how they want to be engaged.
Yes.
And so, and we're going to see that not just through data, but other voices. What are the things that are winning on the web? What are the things that are winning in media? And that's where companies are going to find their lessons.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
So do companies need to be much more flexible, would you say, in terms of kind of how they expect customers and also maybe employees to react to them from this generation?
I think that when you look at a company and the marketing team is composed of people that are either not millennials or not necessarily connected into what's going on, I think you're going to find it's a recipe for failure. The opportunity is to understand how this generation is going to think, put yourself in their shoes, and see what it is that they're telling you, what are their voices telling you what they're going to be interested in.
Yeah, I think one good model is Taylor Swift, right? She's a big star, but she also cares a lot about, I don't know, the poor people or the relatively poor one or the one in need, right? And then then she will attract a lot of attention. No, I don't know whether it's marketing stunt or she really cares about the one who needs help. But then her fans really like that. And then a lot of young people really admire that because in the past they expect the cool people, the powerful people. They don't care about the normal people. Yeah. Right now they engage, they are part of it. I feel that, hey, she's just like my neighbor. I think that may be a good way to try to reach out to the younger generation. Don't say that you are adult. Try to think about that when you were young, you were exactly like them. Then maybe it's easier to communicate.
Yeah, everybody can relate to Taylor Swift because of that, not just because of her music.
Yes, agree.
Cool. Everyone can relate to Taylor Swift. I think that's going to be a good end point for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.